Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be playing Washington's War from GMT Games, designed by Mark Herman. I am going to be using the brand new, just released CDG Solo System, designed by Stuka Joe and Kuhn. There are, I think, 6 games that have play sheets in this first edition of this. There's a second edition on P500 currently, where there'll be, I think, 7 more games that you can use this with. So the way this works, it's not a solitaire bot, so it doesn't actually run one side for you. Basically, what it does is just allows you to manage the cards for both sides, and you still play both sides. So this is still a situation where you're trying to play both sides to the best of your ability to make a competitive game. And the CDG system basically just gives you a framework within which you can work to draw cards without actually knowing the contents of the full hand of either player. So without too much further ado, I'm going to get right into it. We're starting in 1775. As you can see, I have the board set up sideways. That is because of the shape of the board. The orientation is north to south, and it's kind of a portrait as opposed to landscape, so it's not particularly oriented the correct way for video. So rather than do it where I'm moving the camera around by hand, or I even considered doing a 2-camera shoot where I basically put cameras on both ends and kind of shot this way, and then I could have mixed it together. That all seemed really, really complicated. I also considered doing it with Vassal, but I elected to just go with the board game because the board game is where this is the general thrust. This is the general format in which you're going to be using your CDG Solo System. So the first thing we need to do is figure out who goes first, right? So typically the American gets the choice unless the British has a campaign card that they wish to roll. So I need to roll the fate die, and this is the fate die. So this is a special die that comes with the CDG Solo System when you buy it. What this allows you to do is basically determine which slots on the cards. So this is the American card. This is the British card. I have a blue cards remaining marker here and a green one here to kind of differentiate them. They both have 5 cards. Each player in this game gets 7 cards. So we're going to continue drawing fresh cards as we play, and we'll use the cards remaining marker to slide down to know when the turn ends. And then once the turn ends, you advance a year. That's the way this game works. I'm going to probably assume a little bit that you know how Washington's War works. I'll talk about that game a little bit, or about the game itself a little bit, but in general, I really wanted to showcase this CDG Solo System being used with the game. So I'll try and do a little bit of both, but the main thrust really is the Solo System, and also give you a chance to see Washington's War if you have not seen it yet. So this is obviously, or maybe not obviously, but this is a remake essentially of Mark Herman's original CDG game that he made for Avalon Hill back in the 90s. That was called We the People. And in 2010 or 2009, he kind of reworked it and fixed a few things that he over time had decided didn't really work all that well or could be tweaked and improved upon, and came out with Washington's War. So this is the, I believe, 2nd edition of the game, and it's currently out of print, I believe, but it is on P500. So I'm going to roll this fate die to see which cards I can flip for the British. And then if they don't have a campaign card, I don't have to worry about it. If they do have a campaign card, that would give them the opportunity to play that to go first. So what we got here is E and a lower and a lesser sign. So what that is, and we have the play sheet here. It says, if there is only one or no face-up cards, flip any one face-up card. Flip any one face-down card face-up until there are 2 face-up cards. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And then you can play or discard any face-up event card, or play the lowest value ops card, etc. We're really looking for a campaign card because we're just trying to determine if the British will have the opportunity to go first or not. So we'll flip card C, and look, we flipped a campaign card. Now, honestly, I'm not even sure that the British would want to go first in this first turn. So, but maybe they would. Maybe they would. But I'm allowed to flip a second card, so I'm going to flip B as well. So we have an ops card. So I think what we will do is we will, as the British, we will sit and say we're not going to go first, which means the Americans get the choice. The Americans will go first. We'll roll the fate die again to see what we're going to flip. So we got AB, and AB just means you flip the face down cards in slots A and B. So they get an event card. They actually get 2 event cards. So the first event card they have is Pennsylvania and New Jersey line mutinies, and that's actually a British event card, so they would not want to play that card. They also have the Swamp Fox, Francis Marion, may be played by the American player in a strategy phase. He removes a British PC marker from any 2 spaces in North Carolina, South Carolina, or Georgia that does not contain a British CU. So CU is a combat unit. The only combat units on the board at the beginning of the game are all up here. We have Carleton with two CUs, a two strength combat unit in Quebec. Then we have General Howe here with 5 CUs in Boston. George Washington in Lexington and Concord with 5. And then Nathaniel Greene with 2 in Newport. So there's nobody in the South. Now they do have between North and South Carolina and Georgia, they do have three any 2 spaces. So I could remove 2 of their CUs. So I think I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to discard this card. And then when you discard a card, you draw a new card to keep your slot full. And then we move this down to 6. So this is now 6 cards remaining for the Americans. And I get to pick 2 of these that I'll remove. So I'll remove Gilberttown and Wilmington because why not? So, I forgot to determine who controls specific colonies here. So basically, when the game ends, the number of colonies that are under control of the either the colonials or the British, that determines who wins the game. So we will continue on. We're going to roll the fate die for the British. And so now we get the C. We get this guy here, which is C, less than sign, and exclamation points, which I know from pre-reading this, the exclamation points are actually not used in this game. So it says, if not already, face up, flip the card and C. Ours is already up. Play card C or the lowest face-up ops card in slots A, B, D, or E for any allowable purpose, or discard an event card. Okay, so basically we have the choice to play either the event or the campaign here in C, or to play our ops card. So I'm going to play the ops card, and I'm going to play it for a PC, I think. So we will discard this, and we'll play, we'll put a PC down in Ticonderoga for the British. So then we draw a card for them, face down, put it in slot B, and we go back to the colonists. Oh, they get slid down by 1. Okay, so we get D and E. So D and E is just flip any face down cards in D and E. We get another British event and a 3 ops. So I can tell you right now we're going to play the 3 ops because you can play cards in D or E for any purpose, and then you fill it with a fresh face down card. So that's going to move us to 5. I'm going to play the 3 ops, and I'm going to play, I'm going to actually play it for reinforcements, I think. So I'll put this in the first reinforcement slot to indicate that the Americans have called in reinforcements. Now they can bring in a general and up to 3 CUs. So we'll bring in Gates, bring in General Gates, and we'll bring in 3 CUs. And we will put Gates in Philadelphia. And I'm not claiming I'm a master at this game. In fact, this is the first time I've actually played it. So, because I just got it recently. So I'm not going to be the most strategic player here. I've watched some videos on some other YouTube channels of people playing the game, but I am by no means an expert. Okay, so we'll roll the fate die again now for the British player. They get CDE. So CDE lets them flip D and E because C is already face up. So that's a 2 ops and a second minor campaign. Now that slides them down to 5. Now the thing with the campaigns, the minor campaigns, you can activate 2 generals, and they do have 2 generals on the board currently. You can activate both generals and then move them to basically, or you can do a landing party, which lets you move like directly into a port somewhere, because the British Navy, obviously the Royal Navy, especially at this time, was the most powerful navy in the world, and it remained so for a very long time. But yeah, so the seaboard is basically open to being exploited by the British at pretty much every location. So anywhere that's a port, if it's not a fortified port like Philadelphia that has like a CU in it or something, then they can basically land forces there. So we won't play the campaign yet. What we will play is this 2 ops, and we're going to play it for reinforcements ourselves. So we'll drop that in there. I'm going to fill this with a card. I already moved that. Yeah, I already moved that. So we'll take Cornwallis and a 2 CU, and we're going to drop him in Norfolk. So now we have a force here that we might be able to do something with one of these campaign cards later in the turn. Now we'll roll again. And we got CDE for the Americans, so I can flip all 3 of these. They get a 2 ops and a 1 ops. Now we also have 2 British event cards, and you can discard that card. When you do that, though, the British can use an ops card to pick it up. Now, they don't actually have an ops card, but I would have to roll the fate die to see if maybe I could reveal one of these other cards and they would have an ops card that they could then pick it up with. So I don't know what, let's see. This is interesting about what to do here. So I can call in reinforcements again if I wanted to. Now the Americans have the advantage in that they can put PCs pretty much anywhere. So we will take one and put it in, we'll put it in Springfield to give us control of Massachusetts. And we will put the other one here in Saratoga to block the British. So New York, we now have 2 in New York. They have 1. So that control of New York remains with the Americans. I should have flipped it. Actually, no, it was a tie, so I should have pulled it off, but that was not necessary. So now back to the British. AB, which are not flipped over. So we flip those over. And they get a 3 ops. And they get an event card. Okay, so Lord Sandwich Coastal Raids would allow him to remove 2 American PC markers from any port spaces that do not contain an American unit, or flip an American PC marker in a port space that doesn't contain a unit. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to play this event card. I'm going to flip New York to British. Now I could move Howe there if I wanted to. I could have moved him there before, but I didn't, obviously. So now the British control New York, and both sides are at 4 cards remaining. Okay, now we have the E again. So the E with the lower, if there's only one face-up card in the display, there isn't, but we have 3. Play or discard any face-up event card or play the lowest ops value. So we don't have an event card. We have 2 campaign cards. We do have a 3 ops card. So we'll play the 3 ops card. And I think what we'll do in this turn is play the 3 ops card for PC markers. Because the Americans have a lot of PC markers and the British do not. So the way the British work with PC markers is you have to extend off an adjacent one. So we could put one here in Oswego, right? So now they have 3 in New York. The Americans only have 1. Yeah, there's New York. So they flipped New York now. So I have 2 more I can put down. And let's see. Let's put one in Richmond. So they now would take over control of Virginia as well. And we'll put one in, you can't expand like, oh, actually, since I flipped that, I guess I could. We'll put one here in Morristown. So now New Jersey is neutral, and they took Virginia. I already did that. So, okay. All right, so back to the Americans. And you get A, B, C. So again, you can flip anything that's not flipped. So B and C are the only cards that aren't flipped. And so now we have full view of the entire American hand here. Yeah, I'm gonna play this 3 ops. I'll play this 3 ops for reinforcements. We'll bring in Lincoln. Yeah, we'll bring in Lincoln. It doesn't really matter who it is, I guess. And I'm going to actually put him here in Alexandria with 3 CUs. So now if I get a campaign card, I wouldn't even need a campaign card. I could just activate him with an ops card if I can get a 2 ops, because the 1 ops would only be able to activate Lafayette or Arnold, who I did not put in the game. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt me here. So we'll go to that was 3 cards now remaining for the Americans. You have to fill the slot. And we get AB. Oops, we didn't fill the British slot last time. So they get a 3 ops and a 1 ops. So they've already drawn their reinforcements. We could use the 3 ops to put 3 more CUs in somewhere if we wanted to. Let's do that, actually. So we're going to use the 3 ops. We're going to buy 3 CUs for the British. And I'm going to give them to Cornwallis, because he's going to go hunting here in a little bit. Okay, so let's draw a card. Put it here. Now they're down to 3. Next we get the E again. So this lets us play any card, play or discard any face-up event card or an ops card. I'm going to play the John Paul Jones event, which will randomly remove 1 card from the British hand. So the way I determine which card gets discarded is we roll a 6-sided dice, 6-sided die, and we get a 1. Now on the back here, there's a random card selection. So number of face-up cards. We have 2 face-up cards, 1 to 3. So it's going to be this card here. So this is the lowest face. So they're going to lose that card. I'll draw another card, but they only have 2 cards remaining now. And we also only have 2 cards remaining. Okay, so now it's the British turn. And since they only have two cards remaining, and they're both, well, we know we have 2 minor campaign cards here. We have a C. We have the C again, which is, if not already face up, flip C it is. Play C or the lowest value ops card. We don't have one. They're gonna play one of their campaign cards because basically that's the only choice they have. So with a minor campaign card, you can activate 2 generals. So whether or not I'll activate 2, I don't know. I could activate Howe and move him, or activate him and attack Washington, which I don't know if that would be a good idea or not. It's a little risky. In lieu of activating, 1 general may use a landing party. The British can automatically go first, yeah, if it's the first card played. So they're going to activate Cornwallis. And what Cornwallis is going to do is he's going to move up here and attack. He's going to go here, and then he's going to go to Alexandria, and we're going to have ourselves a battle. So now Lincoln, because it's an American unit, he can elect to retreat, and you roll for that. So we'd have to roll to see if he can retreat. If this was Green or Washington, they actually get a +2 on a retreat roll, but it's Lincoln, and his agility is only a 1. So literally have to roll a 1 here. Let me move these out of the way. Literally have to roll a 1 here, and we rolled a 6, which is as far from a 1 as you can get. So we are going to have a battle. Okay, so the way battles work is you add up the factors that are involved. So you get first we have to roll for the generals to see if they get their full ability or half ability. So Lincoln's a 1, so that can't be halved. But Cornwallis is a 4, so we have to roll to see if he gets his full rating or he would only get 2. And he rolled a 1, so he's on, I think, so because he rolled a 1, he gets only 2. Okay, but he's got 5 CUs. So you take your CUs, you add the general's rating. So Cornwallis gets 2 for that. That's 7. Then he gets +1 for British regulars. So that's 8. And I think that's it. I think that's all he gets right now. So yeah, you get CUs, his battle rating. So 5 + 2 +1 for the regulars. There is Alexandria. Oh, it is a port. So they do get +1 for that. So that's 9. They control Virginia. They have 2 control markers. The Americans only have 1. So that's 10. It's not a winter offensive. They don't have a battle card to play. And they don't have an enemy event card to play. And it's not interception. So they have 10. The Americans have 3. Plus Lincoln is 1. That's 4. So they just get 4. So basically it's 10-4, which means the Americans really can't win. We're going to roll both. We'll roll both dice. So you add it. So the British get 2, which is a 12. The Americans get 3. So that makes it a 7. So the Americans lose. So they will have to retreat. But we also have to roll to see what kind of losses they take. So we rolled a 2. So on a roll of 1, 2, or 3, 1 CU is lost. So they're going to lose one of their CUs. He has 2, but he has to retreat. So he can retreat pretty much anywhere, but he's going to go to Baltimore. All right, so that's the completion of that. We move our cards remaining down to 1. Then we have the American turn now. So we roll our fate die. We got the C again. So again, you play C if it wasn't face up. So you have to flip it. And so now we get an event card. May be played by the American player in any strategy phase after the European War is in effect, which is not the case right now. So that would allow him to remove he would then remove 2 British CUs from the map to reinforce the British garrisons in Florida and the Bahamas. That card can't be played for its event. It could be discarded, so that would allow us to then play 1 ops card instead. So that's what we'll do, because we can play the lowest value face-up ops card. So we do have an ops card. We're going to play the ops card. This will move us down to 1 as well. Okay, and I forgot to do the other activation. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take Hal. I didn't do this before. I should have done this right after the battle. And we're just going to move him to New York via naval transport, basically. So Hal is now in New York. So that puts him within striking distance of Philadelphia. And Gates is sitting there with 3 CUs. So what I might do is use that 1 ops. And what are we going to do for that 1 ops? I think I'm going to place a... we've already used that. I can't really the only general I could activate would be green. But I don't want to do that either. So we played our 1 ops. With the 1 ops, we're going to take a political control marker, and we're going to put it in Pittsburgh. So now we have 2 in PA. We already control Pennsylvania, but now we have 2 in PA, and we've also cut them off from using Fort Niagara to get into Pennsylvania. And this one's already cut off. These dotted lines are wilderness movement, and only Benedict Arnold can use this one. So that moves us down to 1. We go back to the British. CDE, so they can flip C and D. E is already up, so they have 1 ops and 1 ops. And they also have another minor campaign. I could go after Philadelphia if I do another campaign. Oh, I didn't roll for losses for Cornwallis either. I'm supposed to do that, I think. Yeah, I needed to roll for his losses, and I forgot to do it. So if we roll a 1 or a 2, he would lose a CU. And we rolled a 5. So it didn't matter. So basically, CDE, you can play card CDE for any purpose. All right, we're just going to play 1 ops. They've got 3. They would get the militia benefit. They would not get the Royal Navy benefit. So the odds would be fairly even in general, possibly. Because he'd either have a 3 or a 5 for his strategy rating. Which if you got the 5, that would give them 10. And they would get 1 for regulars, which would be 11. The Americans would have 2, 3, possibly 2 more, which would be 5, plus 1 would be 6. So the odds are actually decent, but I'm just going to play the 1 ops for a PC marker, and I'm going to put it in Stanwix, Fort Stanwix. We're going to solidify the British strong hold on New York. New York being a large colony, one of the largest. I think Virginia is the largest, maybe. Maybe. But anyway, we're going to move on. That's their last card play. They get a new card. We roll for the Americans. We get AB. So we know what A is. B is a battle card. So since they can't pick it up, since they're technically out of cards, this turn I can play one of these other cards. Yeah, I'm going to discard this Pennsylvania and New Jersey line mutinies. I'm going to discard this because he can't do anything. The British turn is over. So we draw one card, and then that ends this turn, and we go back to 7 for the next turn, but we have to do our winter attrition. And the way winter attrition works, British CUs have to be in a winter quarter space. So a winter quarter space is anything that's a square or the fort symbol, which is like Montreal. So he's good, and he's good. So all the British CUs and generals are good. They're in winter quarters, no attrition. The Americans, on the other hand, Washington automatically does not, they're exempt if they're in a winter quarter space, which they are not. So they're not exempt. All the Americans are basically essentially vulnerable to it, except Washington when he's in a winter quarter space, which he is not. Okay, so they lose half their strength rounded down. So they're going to lose, he'll go to a 1. Lincoln's down to a 1. He's going to also be, because you round down, so he's going to be a 1. He will now be a 2. So yeah, I should have moved Washington, obviously. Like I said, I'm still kind of new to this, so that was a boneheaded move on my part. So that ends that, and then you would check for isolation. So British get isolated if they can't trace to an unoccupied space or a port or a British-controlled space that has a CU. Okay, so that one's fine. These are all fine. This one is fine because New York is right there. These are fine. So they don't have... they can trace to this empty spot. So they're in this empty spot as well. So they're good. The Americans... an uncontrolled space that doesn't contain a British CU, space containing Continental Congress. So that one's okay. This one is okay. These two are okay. This one is okay. Those are okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That one is okay. This one is okay. So there's no isolated units here. So we would now move on to turn 1776. The British get CUs, which I forgot to put in their box last time, but let me do that now. So they get 8 CUs this time. So that's a 1, a 2, and a 5 that we can put in here, along with Clinton and Burgoyne. And the Americans, they get whatever. We haven't drawn a War Ends card yet. That would go in this spot. So, okay. So again, we would roll for, well, the British could opt to play a minor campaign card to get first move. This time we'll do it just so we can see what that looks like. Okay, so they're going to roll. We'll take this and put this here. And we roll. We got A, B. So we reveal A and B. We get a 3 ops and a 3 ops. So they've got some options going here. So we could actually use this to activate Howe, and he can move 4 spaces. He could move 4 spaces. I could also activate Cornwallis and have him take on Lincoln and his 1 CU there. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do that. We're going to activate Cornwallis, and we're going to move him here. So again, Lincoln will attempt to retreat. He needs a 1. He got a 2. Okay. So we are going to have a battle. We are going to have a battle. So again, we count it up, right? So this one's in Maryland because he's in Baltimore, I believe. Yep. He's in Baltimore. It is a port. It is a port. So he's going to have... So again, we need to roll for... we'll roll both dice at the same time. So the Americans have a 3. The British have a 2. So Lincoln's only a 1, so he's going to be a 1, but he's a 2. So that's 7, plus 1 for the regulars is 8, plus 1 for the Navy is 9. They don't control Maryland. The Americans do. So he has 9, and so Lincoln has 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 for militia is 3. So... Again, he's going to lose, it looks like. So the British rolled a 5 and the Americans rolled a 1. So the Americans lost again. So Lincoln is going to retreat. Now we have to roll to see the losses. So we'll roll both dice at the same time. And they both rolled a 3. So the 3 for the side that lost... They lose 1 CU, so that's their last CU. And the side that won, rolling a 3 on a general with an agility rating of 1, they don't lose anything. So Cornwallis can now move here. Okay, so we roll now for the Americans. ABC. So we'll flip A. So we have 3 ops. I'm going to play this for, all right, reinforce. The Americans need to make a bold move here. So I'm going to activate Washington with my 3 ops card. And we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to attack Howe in New York. So 5, 5. We will do... Okay, so we're looking at... He's in New York. They control New York. So he's going to get... He's got 5. We should roll the dice here. They both rolled 5s. So they both get their full strategy. So for Howe, that's 5. For Washington, that's also 5. So they both have 10. The British get a bonus for the port is 1, the regulars is 2, control of the colony is 3, so they're at 13. The Americans are going to discard the Admiral Rodney event card here. Get rid of that. And what that does is gives them a +1. So they're at 11. So it's 13, 11. We roll both dice. So the Americans need to roll 2 higher than the British to tie, or 3 higher to win. And they lost. So, okay, so now, again, we have to roll both dice to see the losses. So we rolled a 5 for the British and a 6 for the Americans. So this is going to be heavy losses, I think. So the loser of the battle, on a roll of 6, 3 CUs are lost. That is brutal for Mr. Washington here. For the winner, the opposing general's agility rating is 2. So he actually rolled high enough that he doesn't lose anything. So that worked out quite well for the British. The Americans have to retreat. Oh boy. Yeah, we're going to retreat to New Haven, and I hope I can move him to Hartford or something. All right, so they get 2 new cards. There's 2 cards or 1? There's 1. All right. Okay, so things are really going well for the British so far. DE. So we flip D and E. And they get a 1 ops, and they get the first of these War End cards. So when that happens, you must be played, and it can't be discarded. And so I think that just counts as their move because they have to play it. So that's actually a pretty early end to the war if we don't draw another one before then. So we go back to the Americans now. ABC. So A we flip. It's a 2 ops. I'm going to play this. And I'm going to use it to move Washington to Hartford, I think is what I'm going to do. We're going to activate him again and move him to Hartford. And then we draw another card. And back to the British. And they get the E. So we have to play the lowest value ops card. So I'm going to play the 1 ops, which doesn't really do much for the British. But we can use it to bring our reinforcements into the game. So we will do that. We're going to bring in Clinton, and we're going to put him in Boston. Put him in Boston with 5 CUs. And we will put these other CUs. We have 3 more. And where are we going to put these? We can give 1 to Howe because he has a 6. So that, and then we'll put the other 2 in Norfolk. Okay, draw a card. So I think it's 4 and 2 right now. So they get the E. Okay, so we have 2 cards up. So we have to play an event card, I guess, because we don't have any. So we're going to play this, even though I can't. I'm going to play it. This is the Don Bernardo Galvez captures Pensacola card. I'm just discarding it, essentially, because I don't have. It can't be played until the European War starts, which has not happened yet. So we'll put that here. And the way this game's going, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So, we're down to 3. Okay, so C. And we flip C, and it's a 3 ops. So that's going to let us activate somebody. So we can activate Clinton if we wanted to and move him somewhere. PC actions with one of these 3 ops cards. Place that there. We'll go Westchester. We should do something down in Virginia. We'll take Yorktown. And we'll take New Bern. All right. I have 1 card left. CDE. So we're going to flip all 3 of these. And we have a 3 ops and a 1 ops. So let's play the 3 ops for reinforcements, because we need more men. So we'll flip Green to 2, so he gets 1. And then we'll give Washington 4. Or, actually, no. We're going to leave Washington at 2, and we're going to give Gates 3. because Gates is in Philadelphia and we need to hold Philadelphia. And so far the British haven't picked up a campaign card where they'd be able to really hit Philadelphia. So that goes to 2. And again, the E again. So they only have 1 card up, so we get to flip any other card, I think. Flip any 1 face down card up. So let's just do E. So that's an event card, which means we have to play it, I think. Yeah, okay. We'll play the 3 ops card to move Clinton. Guess. Or I can play it for... I'm going to play it for PC. Why not? Like that. Should get some in Pennsylvania. There's 1. I can't do another one there right now. Let's do North Carolina. So North Carolina now flips British. That was the last card for the British. Now the Americans go. And they get the E again. So they're going to discard the North Carolina Loyalists for that turn. And then on the last one, we get ABC. So we got 1 ops. We'll play 1 ops for PC. We'll put our PC here in, and that ends the second turn. So now we would go again and do our attrition. So we know what that means. Washington this time doesn't lose anybody, so he's going to go back to 1. He's back to 1. He's back to 1. He's got nothing. So that's that. Then isolation, good, 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 good. That one's okay, that's okay, that's okay. That one's okay. Some of these 2, that one's okay. They're all okay, looks like. The British, all of these are okay. They're all connected. All of these are connected. And these are connected as well. So that one goes there and here. We should try to isolate 96, maybe. But that's the end of that. The British are all in winter quarters, I believe. Yep. Nobody moved. Actually, nobody moved except we placed Clinton. So we would go on to 1777. So I'm going to stop here. The video's been pretty long so far. I want to stop. So this just kind of give you an idea of how this game plays with the CDG system. You can see, you flip the cards, you look, you have some choices on what you can do and how you can play it. Hopefully that made sense. I'm sure I was probably playing some of the things in this game incorrectly. Like I said, I'm fairly new to this game. I played through the example of play and probably forgot some of it. But in general, I think I did most of it correctly. Anyway, for now, this is going to be the end of this. I'm not sure I will continue this with like a part 2 or whatever. I've noticed that, part 1 generally gets decent views. Beyond that, people stop watching in general. So I might do a CDG again with one of the other games. I also have Paths of Glory I could play with this, with the CDG. It might be interesting to try that game with it and see how that works out. That's a game I'm a little bit more familiar with, although it's been years since I've played it. So for now, I am going to sign off. My name's Joe. This is Hexed Encountered. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow my channel. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, happy gaming.